Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with an exciting Dark Dimension 6 global update. So as you guys can see on screen, I actually just got the final mini uniques here for Nemesis, upgrading him to gear tier level 18, and finally actually going to show you guys some gameplay here of the global nodes. But I mean, yeah, this took so much time. Just I was actually using cores and going through the supply store, but you know, it's crazy how much of a gear constraint this is, and you really got to take your time. But make sure you bring in quality characters as opposed to quantity, right? We want to make sure that we're bringing the right ones due to how exclusive the characters are and the gear. But yeah, my 5-character team is going to be very similar to what we've already seen in the past, but with the additions of Captain Carter as well as Nemesis, Captain America, Black Widow, and Apocalypse. So let's get right to it, guys, for the first few attempts and attacks here. So first and foremost, gotta say, wow, these nodes are definitely, in my opinion, harder than the first section, just because it's pretty straightforward. We had Val reviving too, but that's kind of why I wanted to bring in Captain Carter, just because she does have a lot of synergy with Captain America. But in this initial wave, I mean, there's not really much you can do. We see full well how powerful Spider-Man Noir is against us, but from the get-go, we gotta keep things simple, right? I go ahead, I ability block Spider Weaver, just because we want to control her using her ultimate to generate those charges. She's basically the target for the first wave, guys, and I had to do reset quite a few times, but we essentially want to land Apocalypse's ultimate on Spider Weaver so we can knock her out. That way she is not going to be a pain point moving forward into the waves here, and as well as the node itself, just because you'll see we're just up against a lot of damage dealers, but it's going to be starting with Spider Weaver, and then we can focus on the rest of this supportive crew. But yeah, just look at all the damages that they're doing against us. I would even say maybe it would have been more strategic to do a sacrifice the first attempt, but you can see we're doing really good here. This is the reason why I brought in Nemesis with his ultimate, being able to apply those bleeds, give the team a full heal, but unfortunately, his abilities do cost a lot of energy. So we see our Captain America does fall, unfortunately, in the beginning here. But like I said, this is the reason I brought in Captain Carter. He's just such a reliable tank that we're going to need that synergy back here. So finally, we last long enough here to use Apocalypse's ultimate, and we do get that ready to go here. And then again, we're just trying to do as much damage as we can. Captain Carter reviving Captain America. Again, trying to make sure that he stays placed as a tank to soak up damage. You just find that these guys just do so much damage. And Spider-Man Noir is definitely a highlight that we're going to be focusing on in the waves going forward. But you can see here we finally take down Spider Weaver, which is a big success. At this point, if you guys are following my guide and kind of doing the similar strategy, expect after Spider Weaver for them to retaliate, because they still have lots of damage, but we were just really focused on taking down one enemy at a time. So you'll see pretty shortly here, they get all their cooldowns back, and they just start doing work. This Ultron is just really problematic, but unfortunately, he's so tanky, and his clones and his minions come out that just do so much work. He's just not something that you should be focused on initially, just because we're dealing with so many enemies, especially Moonstone. We have to deal with Spider Weaver. So at this point, when you have 1 or 2 of your allies fallen, I'm pretty much just trying to conserve energy. Use the basic attacks, conserve energy, let them finish you off. But this was a success because in the initial wave now, at least we were able to take down that Spider Weaver and prepare for the next attack here. Attack number 2. So similar strategy. We got to focus on damage dealers. Spider Weaver's down also. It should be a little bit more smooth because those charges and stuns aren't in the way. But mind you, there's still a lot of noise that we have to deal with. So in my honest opinion, guys, there's a couple of targets you could aim for. Personally, if I had to go back, I think Spider-Man Noir probably should have been the priority for this attack. But I mean, just because him shrouding nonstop, it makes it kind of difficult, right? But we go ahead, we start doing some AoE damage. If you notice, I kind of switched up my order of how my my allies were compared to the first attempt, just because I noticed they're getting some attacks here and there. So I wanted to protect Carter and Nemesis more to the right, so that way they would be providing those regenerative and supportive capabilities. So for this wave, actually, what actually ended up happening was me just trying to shoulder their damage, and then I was aiming for Moonstone. So Moonstone was going to be the next target. And keep in mind, just given how Dark Dimension's kind of set up, we can utilize Apocalypse's ultimate once every time we do the reset. So thankfully, he gets all his cooldowns, and that was the one I decided to target because Moonstone does do a lot of damage. She can do the turn rewind. You can see our team going down quite quickly, but we were able to land the ultimate on Moonstone. And then try to, at this point, you try not to use your abilities. You know, just use the basic, because again, we're going to be needing these abilities for a pretty meaningful third attack here. But you can see I was just trying to play the luck aspect. Can I luck out here and just try to get in the final attack? And I do Apocalypse. So boom, Moonstone goes down. So Spider Weaver, Moonstone down. But you can see this is just such a problematic wave, because look at how these guys are just doing so much damage even without Weaver and Moonstone. So it's really about tackling it one attempt at a time, guys. So those are the two goals there. And now the stage is set for us to actually do a very, very meaningful attack, guys. So 21 out of 23 enemies, like I said, the 2 of them down. We go ahead. We start things off the right way by stunning actually Spider-Man Noir. It's one thing I didn't focus on in the previous waves, but now we know that he's a key target we got to take down. So like I said, guys, looking back, I would urge you to take down Noir first before Moonstone, because I just think he just does so much damage with his bleeds. He always gets those initial attacks when the wave starts. So, I mean, he's just a great target to take down. So, a couple things with this one. We finally get the chance to utilize our abilities with the defense up. And I want them to focus Captain America, because I do have a revive ready to go from all the cooldowns saved. But another key target would be also Emma Frost. So it would be kind of a waste. I was focusing Spider-Man Noir in this initial wave because I didn't want to use Apocalypse's ultimate actually on Noir. So we really want to be focusing on a character that obviously has a lot more HP. So in my opinion, I think Emma Frost is definitely one of the biggest pain points, because she can cleanse and she can also apply blind and strip away our positive buff. So I was trying to go ahead, as you can see, a lot of AoE damage, focusing Noir as much as possible, but we also wanted to land the Apocalypse ultimate on Emma Frost. So that's kind of why I was just targeting everything at Noir. We knew that the ultimate wasn't going to finish off Emma Frost, but she's not a damage dealer. The big problem target for sure was Noir. So that's why we're continually just doing work there. Thankfully, he was also next to Taskmaster, being another damage dealer, so a lot of adjacent damage was happening, which is great. Taskmaster goes down, not intentional, but obviously it definitely helped us. At this point, don't hesitate to use the stuns. Like, I love Black Widow just buying us more time. You really just don't want Noir taking any attempts or turns, just because of the fact of how much damage he can do. He can, two-shot easily a lot of your allies, even if they're built up to gear tier 18. So finally, Noir down. We feel a huge sigh of relief, and we know that at this point we can manage this a little better, build up energy once again. So now I'm just like focused on Emma Frost, right? We thankfully got some heals coming back with Nemesis here. And so I love this energy. He provides some really good support. His ultimate takes quite a bit of time to generate back up, but I mean, at least his special is pretty short with the 3 energy. So pretty consistent, to be honest, and he can self-sustain, which is really nice. So Emma Frost is down, these 4. Now keep in mind, I think the next 2 or 3 enemies that go down do trigger the next wave. So you kind of need to be mindful of who you want to aim for. Personally, I think having Kingpin is down as one of the key ones is huge, because he just provides a lot of support. He can summon supportive minions, and then just his buffs really hurt us in terms of providing regen back to the enemy ally. So this is one I would recommend, taking down Kingpin. Leaving, obviously, the Rhinos is not a big deal, just because of the fact that they just taunt, which is annoying, but they don't do a lot of damage, which is great. And they're pretty much just extra fodder for this wave. Thankfully, it wasn't too overtuned. But you can see even them with their basic attacks doing some work. Thankfully, like I said, a lot of heals going on with our team. We're building up energy. We got Captain Carter's ultimate that she can spam, because with Captain America giving that energy back, it's not a big deal. But we know that the time is coming near here for the next wave, so we're go ahead. We're just trying to do as much as we can. So 2 down. So the trigger has started. Now at this point, it's just us against time. How long is it going to take? How many turns do we get until the next wave comes? Is pretty much waiting for that, and boom, here we go. Another mixed offensive cluster here. Really big cluster again, but this time we Spider-Man Noir gets his buddy 2099 to actually get supportive damage and capability. So something to be mindful of. Moonstone and Titania are also together. And again, we have that Ultron just providing support, because we just couldn't take him down early on. I don't know, to be honest, if it's possible in the beginning, just because of how many enemies we're up against. But at this point, I just wanted to kind of bide my time and do some attacks here. But you're gonna see pretty shortly here that things go south. So I think everything's going swell, but then once they start bursting damage, there's not much you can do about it. So if anything, this is gonna showcase a at least how much damage this wave can do. So I'm glad at least they got it out of the attack. So 2099 goes ahead, sets up the stage with some initial damage. They start getting a bunch of buffs, and then finally they're getting their turns now in, right? We also do not have Apocalypse's ult again, so I mean, it would be good for him to go down, but we decide to wing it. We use Nemesis ultimate to bring us back to full HP, essentially, applying some bleeds here and there. But then once Ultron gets his ult off, you know, that took down our Nemesis. So at this point, I'm thinking to myself, I should probably just try to mitigate the damage now. Try to save energy if I can, or apply at least a little bit of speed up to get some more turns. Because we know Black Widow, she's got a short cooldown anyway, so not a big deal. But I just didn't know how fast they were gonna drop. So you guys can see it can snowball pretty quick here, unfortunately, right? So we go ahead. We know at this point it's game over. So just use the basic abilities, try to do damage. I think Moonstone, it's gonna be similar. I think I'm gonna aim for Moonstone again because she's already you know, half HP. She does heal up at the end of this, which was unfortunate, but you can see a pain point is Doc Ock too. He's providing a lot of regen, so something to consider for next wave. Definitely got to game this out better for next time, but at least we made a pretty impactful, meaningful third attack, which was huge for myself. So there you guys have it. 3 attacks there. Started the global. I'll keep you guys up to date. I'll try to just do a couple attacks, so that way my videos aren't too short as well, because I want to make sure they're meaningful. But they're there, as you can see, 3 attacks. The first one taking down Spider Weaver, second one Moonstone, and then the third attack actually being the most meaningful because we were able to take down quite a few enemies. So keep you guys up to date. Thank you as always. Do appreciate you following, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.